welcome to Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's free. Help make this video podcast go viral by posting this link on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and or on your Twitter page. This video podcast is available in 3 forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. November 10th, 2023 will mark our 32-year anniversary. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard technology. We want to interact with our audience in real time through the chat room during our live podcasts. I want to know if there is anyone on my Facebook friends list or in my social groups that live within the United States of America who knows how to do a professional fundraising. If so, please send me a message to my Facebook inbox. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black grassroots media component. We discuss controversial topics that you wouldn't hear about from the mainstream media. We're committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcast and YouTube channel to help them earn extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. I created a GoFundMe page last April 2022 as a crowdfunding source so that everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups would know exactly where the funds will be going. This will also indicate our progress in getting this film project fully funded and made. Out of 1,800 people, my Facebook friends list, only 5 people have donated to our film project on our GoFundMe page. Black people, African people, we gotta do better. This is for the sake of our children. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group here in America before I cut and run to Africa. At this time, all I can do is news commentary. We host our virtual conferences every last Saturday of the month until we are able to raise the capital to fund our film project. Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins, is a solution-based docudrama which is based on my experience growing up in the inner cities of Chicago and the purpose why I created GRCAM. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney, it's owned by us. We want to get this film in front of 500 million people worldwide. We will offer a 21st century solution both domestically within the United States of America and throughout the diaspora. GRCAM is my gift to Black millennials, Generation Z, and my group members worldwide. It's my hope that we can eventually create our own black film industry, black hair product industry, and sporting industry. All I have at this time is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. I recommend that if you're serious about working with me and turning my vision and plan for Black America into a reality, then purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If with what I'm trying to do in the African American community, then make arrangements with me to come on this podcast so that we can talk about it. I'm using this technology to broadcast my vision and plan to all who will listen. This is my hope that the African immigrant community in America would come forth and work with me first in getting this film project fully funded and made so that we can build Grassroots of Chicago together and making our presence known within the African American community, starting in Chicago, then expand to 10 African nations. This is for credibility within the African American community, throughout the diaspora, and sending a strong message to the Black world. I don't operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. I reach out to Black America, online and in real life, for the past 31 years. Now my focus is on reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America from the following African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Stand up and work with me. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made, the sooner we can build Grassroots of Chicago and expand to Africa, starting in South Africa. Once the proceeds from the docudrama starts pouring in, then I will be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, and hire qualified Black middle-class professionals and African immigrants within the United States of America. I will run my Christian business the way I run my home, drama-free. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago, art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours in 10 African nations. We're going to meet people from my African group, Grassroots of Africa. I will bring the best of the diaspora with me to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our people. We will reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from enslavement and colonization. Since Black America / Black Chicago has overlooked and rejected my vision and plan for the past 31 years, my Christian business will be membership-based. I am only responsible for my members. Those who are not part of us, we will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. Once we have a physical building in place, we will hold mandatory orientation for new members and local residents. Everyone must pass our criminal background checks, sign the community pledge, and submit their thumbprints to be placed in our database. We will separate ourselves from con artists, degenerates, off-code Negroes, pedophiles, and urban terrorists. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for our next GRCAM virtual conference, Saturday, October 28th, 2023. Theme: GRCAM core objective: uniting the African American community and the African immigrant community within the United States of America. Where? Facebook Live / StreamYard. Time: 2 p.m. through 3 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time, either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's topic of discussion is as follows. Black Chicagoans speaking out against the migrant crisis in Chicago, and Black Chicagoans are suing the city over immigration policies. Our first topic, Black Chicagoans speaking out against the migrant crisis in Chicago. My hometown, Chicago, and New York has been one of the few cities that the migrants have been sent to because we're a so-called sanctuary city. The Democrats are dumping these migrants in black neighborhoods without vetting them. They're getting all kinds of benefits, yet homeless American citizens are left on the streets. That's a real problem. We have a legitimate reason to raise concern about this matter. This is the wake-up call Black Americans need. What we are seeing over here, it is time for America to pay descendants of American slaves reparations for the atrocities of slavery. We're also demanding an anti-Black hate crime bill. Black Chicagoans in Almonson Park are outraged after Mayor Brandon Johnson decided to dump 200 migrants in their neighborhoods. Mayor Johnson will not only put migrants there, but also cause local residents to go to other places for community activities. I found a video clip entitled, quote, Chicago migrants, Chicago residents sound off against plan to house migrants at Almonson Park, unquote. I recommend that you watch the full video in order to understand the issue. I also encourage my listeners to follow me on my Medium page. Look for the exact title of this presentation, then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, what I got from the video is that Black Chicagoans were expressing their outrage at the Chicago leadership for planning to put migrants in struggling African-American neighborhoods. The citizens want the city to no longer be classified as a, quote, sanctuary city, unquote, by ignoring the will of the people. Democrats have proven they do not believe in democracy. Before I go into my presentation, let's define what is a democracy. According to an online dictionary, democracy is a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. The question is this really a democracy? What these politicians are doing in the United States of America to American citizens. Black America really don't have a voice. According to the video clip, the community clearly states that they don't want migrants in their community due to the fact that they barely have enough resources for themselves. The power that should bring the migrants to the Latino community, people who speak the language and have a similar culture. In a true democracy, the aldermen would listen to their constituents and express their concern to City Hall, then vote no to migrants coming to the neighborhood because they represent their local districts. But we have in America is an authoritarian regime. It's more about what these politicians want. They use the public to get into office. Once they're sworn in, then they do what they want to do. It's time for American citizens to get these politicians back in line and work for the people, not corporations. corporations. Governor Greg Abbott did a good thing by sending these migrants to sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York to shed light on the issue. Everybody is mad at Mayor Brandon Johnson and Mayor Eric Adams. We can vote them out of office, but as long as black people continue voting for Democrats, then we will continue to have the same issues. This is a Democrat policy issue. Black Americans are finding out the hard way about supporting black politicians. When Trump was in office, he made sure that the borders stayed closed. The Democrats have a nerve to tell us to vote for them to save democracy from Trump. The Democrats don't believe in democracy because if they did, they wouldn't have made a decision to dump migrants into the black neighborhoods without talking with local residents first. When everyone is saying no, we don't want them in our neighborhood. True democracy would honor the people's decision. This is the democracy the Democrats want you to vote for. If Democrats believe in democracy, then Mayor Brandon Johnson would hold a press conference and say to the people of Chicago that we don't want the city to continue being a sanctuary city. As of now, Chicago is no longer a sanctuary city. If you are a illegal immigrant, then we will call ICE and have you deported. If you came here the legal way, we welcome you here. That's a mayor who cares about his city and his people. The Democrats only care about their party and their agenda. Democrats don't believe in democracy because this migrant crisis has proven it. The most insidious part of this migrant crisis is that black people vote 90% for the Democrats. I am so glad to see black people starting to take a stand against this abuse. The city of Chicago have a plan. They want to take a community center in a black neighborhood and dump 200 migrants there. The other place where migrants are placed, they have brought crime to that area. They are allowed to come over here because it has been a policy by the Democrat Party to have open border policy for everyone except Haiti. Local residents want to have a meeting with local politicians. If you vote in 2024 for Biden and the Democrats, then you're not going to have a neighborhood, and your tax dollars will go towards everybody else. Black Chicagoans and Black New Yorkers, we must take a stand, because if you don't, then this issue will come to a black city near you. We must continue to spread this message and vote against this Democrat policy that is harming our neighborhood. These people chose to flee their homeland. They passed up many countries in Latin America to come here. We have to demand an end to sanctuary city status in Chicago. When it comes down to this immigration situation, it's literally anarchy. Illegal immigrants are being rewarded for breaking the law, but when black people break the law, then we get prosecuted and fined. We have a right to say we don't want our community centers as a dumping ground for migrants. This is why the Democrats are in trouble with black voters. A majority of black Americans do not identify with Africa because of the self-hatred of being enslaved by Europeans. We've been taking an L for 400 years. Africa does not have any nuclear weapons, any submarines, and no industrial base. Because of corruption, many Africans are fleeing to Europe looking for employment until Black America and African immigrants in America come forth and work with me in turning my vision and plan into a reality. Our children will continue to suffer. Let's keep it a buck. We see that ain't nothing out there is really working. Our inner cities is a mess nationwide. We can't keep complaining about how the Europeans conquered Africa and enslaved our ancestors. I offer something that no black leader in America has, and that's a solution to solve all of our social issues in America and throughout the diaspora if given a chance. The only way black America will truly be free is for us to build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago with the help of black Americans, African immigrants, and other black immigrants. Then we will expand to South Africa and work with the South African government to help solve load shedding, provide programs and services to create local jobs for African youth in exchange for citizenship. We will teach black youth and African youth about black economic empowerment, geopolitics, blockchain technology, and more. Gurkai of Africa would take the lead and reward in rewriting the borders and build a new Africa. Our focus on this platform is to inform like-minded black people, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Caribbeans, and to encourage our listeners and group members to work with us so that we can build our own global network, promote community advocacy, and cultivate connections that will last for years to come. We're going to have to unify and work together to build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute, starting in Chicago. Then we will create our own economy. As long as we're working for the man, then you are at risk and dependent on them for employment. Our people historically understood this. Think about it. We had more black businesses during Jim Crow than we do today. We have to use the Asian model. Their focus is on their economy. We have to start practicing group economics. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic, Black Chicagoans are suing the city over immigration policies. I found a video clip entitled, quote, Chicago migrants lawsuit filed against Chicago over city housing migrants in public buildings, unquote. I recommend that you watch the full video in order to understand the issues. I also encourage my listeners to follow me on my Medium page. Look for the exact title of this presentation, then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, what I got from the video is that these Negroes have voter remorse. How are you going to vote for Joe Biden? Then start blaming Mayor Brandon Johnson. Before him, it was Lori Lightfoot. These are all Democrats. They don't want to admit that they made a big mistake. But this is what you all voted for. There is so much corruption in Chicago. Politics. If only black Chicagoans and African immigrants in America would work with me and moving Gurkam from behind the computer, starting on the big screen to get our story out to the black masses, then we can focus on building Gurkai of Chicago and make our presence known on both the west side and south side of Chicago. Hopefully it would become a national franchise like McDonald's. As long as Negroes remain off code and politically immature, then Black America as a collective will either have to embrace annihilation or embrace survival. During the 2020 election, I encourage my listeners and group members to demand tangibles for our vote. But James E. Clyburn encouraged Black America to vote for Joe Biden. I remember how Black Americans were bragging about how they helped save the Democrat Party. Now look at all the mess we are in today. Our last chance to get it right politically was during the Democratic primaries. We could have voted for Bernie Sanders. I was shocked that Black America did not support Bernie Sanders. He was for police accountability, narrowing the wealth gap between blacks and whites, and promoting policies for the working class. But Black Americans selected Hillary Clinton, which proved that a majority of Black people don't research these political candidates and their policies. Instead, a majority of Black people wait until the TV ads tell them who to vote for, or they wait until the front runner is announced, which is selected by the electoral college. Then they get behind that person. Black people are not doing anything revolutionary. They talk all that black stuff. Notice, you never see Black people get behind a candidate who is a threat to the system. It's always the safe candidates. Before I cut and run to Africa, we need to fix the low-income African-American community first by building a Chicago for credibility throughout the diaspora and the Black world. Then we will have a intelligent African-American community that can expand to Africa and bring our talents there to help develop Sub-Saharan Africa, starting in South Africa. We're so divided based on politics, religion, and social class. I am encouraging all of my listeners and everyone in my social groups to please purchase my revised book, either the ebook or the paperback, and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my plan and vision for Black America, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that we can talk about it and encourage others to do the same. The white supremacist financial elite will not fund our nonprofit organization because we are about solving Black issues. They prefer we destroy each other and remain dysfunctional. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support us on our PayPal page, purchase items from our virtual store, purchase my revised book, or sending a direct donation through our GoFundMe page. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this video podcast in the comment section. If you're listening to this audio podcast on Anchor/Spotify, just click on the YouTube icon and select the About section. Then scroll down to links. Peace and blessings.